because of bad news. Are we recording it at the moment, Leanne? Cool. Well, before we start the meeting, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather here today. So I'm in Brisbane, which is the Turrbal, Yagara and Jagera people, and I'd like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Does anybody else want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of anywhere else outside of the Brisbane region?
I'd like to acknowledge the Gubbi Gubbi people.
Well, thank you, Laura. Anyone else? Okay, thank you for that. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. I know it's a bit of an unusual time of the day compared to our normal meetings, but we are recording this and it'll go up on our YouTube channel for people that can't make it. I hope everybody's traveling okay and you're not too impacted by the changes, and that you're looking after yourselves and your families. We're just going to run through again the changes that we're required to make because of the most recent lockdown. So I'm going to hand over to Laura in a second just to talk through the NDIS service delivery aspect. And I'll hand over to, and she'll then hand over to people in culture around some support requirements or some practicalities around how we best support you. And then Glenn will do an update on rostering. But just to confirm from an organisational perspective, everybody who can work from home is being directed to work from home. There are a couple of people in head office at the moment. Our wonderful rostering team are there just making sure we get everything gathered until that's needed, and then they'll be working from home from tomorrow. And we do know that some people will need to pop in and out of the office to collect things, and that's okay as long as you touch base with your line manager to make sure we can manage timing so that not too many people are there at the one time. But all offices will be everybody will be working from home. Support coordination are working from home, carer support team working from home. So basically everybody apart from face-to-face service delivery. And I've said this every time we've had Q&As. I'm really sorry that some people do need to work outside home. Unfortunately, we provide essential services to vulnerable people. So I really appreciate everybody who's willing to go out and provide shifts at this time. We are going to provide quite a hard lockdown for this period, so things will be impacted, but I'm very appreciative of everybody who's willing and able to go out and work with our vulnerable clients. So what I'll do is I'm going to hand over to Laura Grant, who's our General Manager of Operations for NDIS, and Laura's going to talk through the changes that we're implementing until Monday next week. So though lockdown is at the moment, the Queensland Health lockdowns until Sunday at 4 p.m. What we normally do is we do a 24-hour buffer for that to make sure that we're not having to respond to shifts and changes on a Sunday morning. We want to just help clients and employees be as informed and have this as a smooth process as we can. So we will be, at the moment, everything that we're talking about will be until Monday close of business, not Sunday. If you can hold any questions till the end, if you can just either note them down or put them in the chat, but we'll answer questions at the end once we've gone through all of the areas. So I'm going to put myself on mute and hand over to Laura, and she's going to talk you through NDIS.
Thanks, Irene, and thanks everyone for taking the time to join us today. So just a bit of an update from our NDIS services. So we will be restricting all of our services until close of business on Monday, as Irene just mentioned. In addition to that, we'll also be very firm on having no crossover between short-term accommodation or SIL and community access supports. So Glenn will go into more detail about that when he gives his rostering update. So part of the restricting of the services that we will only be providing essential shifts. So that might be to support clients to get essential goods, so medicine, grocery items, just things that they need through the lockdown, and also for essential services. So it could be medical appointments and things like that. And if we deem someone too at risk to not be getting their support services. So I believe that you've already had some contact from either your Triple C or the rostering team, and we'll continue to work with you so you have an understanding of what support shifts you usually do that will be going ahead. We do require that all staff will be wearing masks while on shift. So in addition to the government requirement during lockdown, further to that, we've got the Queensland Health Directive that we have a legal obligation for our staff to be wearing masks while on shift. So if you're someone that cannot wear a mask or is medically exempted, we do need you to get in touch with us as soon as possible. So just contact your line manager to have a discussion with them, and we'll just see what that means for you. We also will be enforcing that clients are also wearing masks. So again, if they're not able to be wearing masks while we're supporting them, can you please let your manager know? With short-term accommodation, we will not be taking any new clients at this point in time. So we do have some people that are already staying at the short-term accommodation. We will be making case-by-case exceptions to that if we think that there's any risk there if that stay doesn't go ahead. And as usual, there won't be any visitors to short-term accommodation, and that does include staff. If there's anything that you do need to collect from a short-term accommodation, if it's masks, if you've run out of masks, we can make arrangements for them to be left outside for you. In addition to that, in short-term accommodation, we will require that any of the clients that are staying at the house are wearing masks while in the common areas. If they're in their own room and are isolated from other people, they can take those masks off. But if they're in a shared space, they will be required to wear a mask. And again, if there's any issues with that with any of the clients, please get in touch with your line manager about that. So when transporting clients in the community, the best practice and what we're recommending is that clients will need to be in the back seat. So that's the direction that clients will be sitting in the back seat, wearing masks and yourself wearing masks. If possible, to have the windows down. If you are transporting a client to get a COVID test, we think that most definitely have the windows down when transporting them and that the client is in the back seat. We also have heard that some clients are contacting support workers directly, and even that some staff have contacted clients as well. So we just ask that you don't contact clients directly about any of your support shifts, if they're going ahead or not. If you do get contact from a client, please get in touch with your client care coordinator or your client care leader or your regional manager and just let them know so that we can work through that with the client. We don't expect our staff to be doing that. We would prefer our staff aren't doing that, the support workers. If there are any issues that you come across through delivery of our services, you need to get in touch with your client care coordinator or your regional manager to talk through any of those issues, including how the reduction in your shifts may impact your personal circumstances. In that case, you can get in touch with me directly if you prefer. So I want to hand over to People and Culture just to have a chat with you about what supports are in place for you during this time. So I'll hand over to you, Karen.
Thanks, Laura. And just reiterating what Laura said, thanks to everybody who's attending today and for your support through all of this. It is really important. Just wanted to take the opportunity to remind everybody about EAP. So I know it is a pretty stressful time, certainly if you're out and about in the community because you're working. So EAP is there to provide support to you and to your immediate family as well. If anybody has any concerns, we will resend out the EAP details. But again, it's a 24/7 completely confidential support line there available for you. And I also wanted just to quickly touch on, I know that some people may well be required to isolate as a result of being in like a close contact sorry, brain's on holiday today. If you end up being a close contact to somebody with COVID, the Queensland government has a pandemic leave disaster payment. So we'll send out the link to people. So this is if you are required to self-isolate or quarantine or care for somebody, there is a government payment that you can claim if you're not receiving any payment yourself. So we'll send out the link. There's information on that through that link about who's eligible, what you need to do to get it. So please have a look at that. And if you've got any questions or concerns, or Kath Jowett, our People and Culture business partner, and we'll provide whatever support we can. So, and yeah, I'm happy to take any questions at the end if anyone's got any concerns. I'll hand over to Glenn.
Thanks, Karen. Quick update from rostering. Sorry. Once again, I wanted to thank everybody for being so flexible. Like, it is a challenging time for everybody. And like Laura said, we are working really hard to put the restrictions back in place of crossover for CAS, SCA, SIL, and also into regions. Like, I do want to thank you all for being so flexible recently, while we have had a couple of staffing issues crossing over and helping out in multiple different regions. But just because of all of this stuff, we do have to wind that back. So you will notice a couple of changes in your roster. We are trying to minimize the effect on you by finding suitable replacements within your own region or with the program that you're being assigned to. We're working with the CCC, CCLs and regional managers at the moment to try and get those lists back in place for each area, so we know where everybody is. But other than that, once again, want to thank you all for being so flexible. The only other comment that I had was, if you could please just try and respond to us, even if it is a no. We don't care if it's a no. Just, if you can't do a shift, just reply to us no, so we can move on to the next step. That's the big thing for us at the moment. And we are here now from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. So if you are unable to attend a shift, you can just call the head office number from 6 o'clock in the morning to let us know you can't attend shift, and we can sort it out from there. And we'll be doing on-call over the weekend as well if you can't attend a shift on a weekend. But other than that, if you do have any concerns, first point of contact would be your CCC, and then they will come to us for anything to look into.
Cool. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
And can I just acknowledge your wonderful new hairstyle?
Thank you.
I don't know if everybody's met Glenn face to face before, but he's wearing a beautiful shade of pink that he wasn't last week. So very nice.
Lockdown for one day, and
Yep.
yeah.
Just to remind you, Glenn, there's a Yapey as well. So, and I do want to acknowledge the Glenn's and his team in Kerry over the weekend, and in fact all of the leadership team responded on Saturday with a very wonderful response. But I think Glenn and his team, for those of you who had contact with them over the weekend, they worked their little socks off to make sure we responded to quite a significant government shift and restrictions. So thank you for that. Glenn worked on his birthday on Saturday and didn't complain once. So thank you for doing that and just being willing to dig deep for the organisation. So what we'll do, just to confirm, so we've got the lockdown restrictions until close of business Monday, not Sunday, and then we'll work through what we need to in terms of any other changes through the week. The marketing team will send out an email to everyone today just with an update on the restrictions and what we can and can't do. What says, if you're not sure about what you can or can't do on a shift, or you're feeling compromised in any way, talk to your line manager straight away if clients are asking you to do things because they're maybe not aware of the restrictions, or not aware of, or not understanding of the implications of breaking those restrictions. Please let us know and we will support you with that. We do recognise that some shifts will be for psychosocial reasons, so it might be just connecting with somebody to make sure they're travelling okay with their mental health. So some of those shifts will still go ahead, but we're making a risk assessment on all of those over the week. So if you're not sure, or you feel that you're being put at risk or in a compromising position, please talk to us and we'll work through that and make sure that you're as safe as can be. So what I might do now is open it up to any questions. And can we do that on the text box, just because it becomes a bit noisy otherwise? And Leanne, are you able to manage the screen so that the text chat comes up. All I can see at the moment's everybody's faces, but if we're able to open up the text box, people can see what's been asked. Oh yeah, can see that now. So does anybody have any questions or any comments that they want to ask specifically around the lockdown and the restrictions at the moment? My housemate's running the tap. I don't know if anybody can hear that in the background. It's okay. I'll put myself on mute. So no questions at the moment. Okay, all right, that's positive. What I might do while we're waiting, just to give people time to respond, is I'll introduce you to Troy Yancey. Troy, I didn't prep you for this, but I don't know if Troy, if you can give people a bit of a wave. Troy's the new regional manager for the Southwest region, so that's Ipswich, Toowoomba, and Mount Gravatt. This is Troy's third week with us. So if you haven't heard from him already, Troy will be making contact with you over the next couple of weeks to touch base and see how you're doing. Okay, I don't think we've got any questions. So thank you everybody for attending. So there'll be an email comes out, as I've said, this afternoon, which will just cover everything that we need. And just to remind you, if you're, yes, there's EAP and there are disaster payments available if you have to self-isolate for 14 days. And we're aware that there will be a payment for people if you lose hours, and the application for that will come out on Friday, we believe. So I think the 8th of August. Okay, Marianne's got a question, but give me a few seconds and I'll just cover what I was going to say, and then we'll go to Marianne and then to Alex. But if you are feeling that there's any financial hardship, can you talk to your line manager directly, and we'll work out some problem solving around that. There's multiple ways of managing it. What we will be doing is to support with anybody's access to the application for government payments. We do need to be clear on our recording whether or not you're cancelling a shift or whether or not we're cancelling a shift. So if you do have to cancel a shift, the rostering team or your triple C or the regional managers will talk you through that. If we're cancelling a shift, we will make sure there's a record of that to help you with any application for payments. Okay, Marianne, are you okay to put your mic on and then ask the question, and then I'll go to you, Alex, afterwards.
Thanks, Irene. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank
you. Oh,
you.
lovely. Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't type fast enough.
That's
I
okay.
just I just wanted to get clarification around what a shift will actually look like. I mean, if I've just jumped onto Brevity and I can see my roster has slightly changed insofar as one shift has been removed, that's fine. So tomorrow morning, I'm still scheduled to have a 3-hour shift with one of our participants. Is it that I get there and still spend the 3 hours with this person, or is it, do I get there and go, right, do you have any, of the essential reasons, to carry out in the shift? And if they say no, do I stay, or do I say, do a mental health check, do it, blah, 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 and then leave? Or what does it actually look like?
Yeah, no, good question, Mary, and thank you for bringing that up. Laura, are you the best person to answer that?
Well, I think what's important to know is that we are actually contacting each person that has a shift rostered. So we've had that conversation with them already. So the shifts that are remaining on people's rosters, it's safe to assume that a conversation has already had that there is an essential purpose for that to continue. I think if you do arrive on shift and it's not exactly as what was discussed with whoever's contacted them previously, then I think that that's when you'd pick up the phone and talk to your line manager and see if this is what I should still be doing, and just get all the information at that point in time, because I think it would be case by case whether the shift would continue.
Cool, thanks, Laura. Marianne, is that you can give us a thumbs up? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
And I think keep in mind, we have roughly about, I think about 400 clients that we bill on a fortnightly basis, and there's a small chance that we might, just given keeping track of everything, there's probably some chances that we'll make mistakes in some of these as well, or we've thought we've spoken to somebody that we haven't. So if we can just I think what Mary Ann's suggesting, and use some common sense around, if you're not sure if the shift should be going ahead, touch base with the triple C. You'll know clients better than we do. So if there's something that's not quite right, just contact us and we'll try and problem solve it with you. Cool. Okay, Alex, can I open it up to you? I'm happy if you want to put your mic on, etc.
Thank you. I just want to briefly remind people that during this period, I guess the carers sometimes can go through a more stressful time because they might be at home caring for people and have even less support when they're in lockdown. So just any contact that you're having with participants and families, just check in with the carers as well and make sure that they're okay. We've still got the 24-hour support line, which is happening, and Glenn's team's helping us with that transition between the 6 a.m. and the 7 p.m. as well. The whole carer support team is still working from home, and we're still here, and we've got the volunteers as well. So just a reminder, I guess, just to always ask the question with the carers, because sometimes they can be in the background and we might forget to actually speak to them directly as well. Thank you. That's good.
Cool,
And
thanks,
Glenn, I
Alex.
am
Good
worried
point.
that if you went into isolation, what your hair might look like if that's just one day of lockdown.
I'm looking forward to what it'll look like. Okay, and we've got a question from Dwayne. Dwayne, are you happy to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, just to clarify with you're saying with the STA accommodation for them to be wearing masks, just wanting to clarify with the SEALs as well, whether they've got to wear masks.
With the who as well, sorry, Dwayne? With the cells?
Yeah,
The cells are, because that's a person living in their own home, they're not
yep,
lawfully required to wear it, but employees are. If the
yep,
clients are happy to wear the masks, then I would absolutely encourage that, but we don't have any lawful reason to direct them to do it. So that, yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Dwayne. But yeah, we don't have any lawful reason to direct people to wear them, but we would encourage that. And again, if anybody's worried about if clients aren't wearing masks, what that looks like for them, please contact us and we'll make sure we go through a supportive process of how we manage that. I'm From what I can gather from all the cells, there's the opportunity for social distancing, but I realise that there's shared surfaces, etc., that could create more risk. But I think in terms of the cells, because they're 24/7, we've got more. It's We're able to manage that more in terms of clients' whereabouts and knowing whether or not they've been a close contact or casual contact, or they've had any exposure to risk. Cool, thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate that. And just with STA as well, we will, if people are at risk, we will still provide services, so that the people that are due to come in, if it is just for respite, obviously we're going to postpone their stays. But if there are people at risk that need STA for specific reasons, we'll manage that on an individual basis. So we won't be leaving anybody in the lurch or having any risk attached to that. So if people are worried about their shifts with STA, they're probably, it's likely that there'll still be some STA running throughout the next week, regardless. But again, we'll keep you in touch with that. Cool.
thank
So
you.
thank you. Any other questions or comments around that? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. What I'll do before we go now, the information only. Just we've been ridiculously busy with things, and we've sent information out today. But our finance manager, Katia Pegg, it's her last day today. She's moving on to another role with a company closer to home, and we're very supportive of that in terms of our work-life balance. And I'll certainly miss her kids coming into the office, and miss Katia and her presence. So I do want to recognise and thank Katia for the hard work that she's done over the past 2 years. Katia started a week before me, and I think it would be fair to say that it was a bit of a challenging start for her in terms of what she inherited. And she's done a phenomenal job to support the finance team to transition into something incredibly professional. So I do want to just reiterate my thanks to that. Now, I know there have been payroll difficulties over the past few weeks, but the past probably about 8 weeks. But that's more to do with the implementation of brevity and matching our systems. It certainly hasn't been a performance area for the finance team. So I know that it's been challenging for some people, but I want to thank you for your patience and understanding with managing that. It always happens when we implement new systems that there's some teething problems, and I do recognise people have been impacted by that. But thank you for your ongoing support and professionalism to that. But again, just to reiterate my thanks to Katia and bringing all of that together and wishing her all the very best for the future. So with that in mind, I'll say goodbye to you all this afternoon. We'll probably have another Q&A on Friday, dependent on the circumstances around where things are at, and when we get more information about the payments of the $750 and $450 in terms of loss of hours, we will let you know, and we'll be able to provide evidence and support to you in your application. We don't quite know what that looks like yet, so I think that will probably be a next week um, problem to solve when the applications come out. But if you are going to apply and the applications come out on Friday, could you just be patient with us about contacting us? We'll look at the application forms and form an Arafmi response to that. So it'd be helpful if you don't all individually contact us asking what we're going to do. We'll arrange some time to do that on Friday and make sure we give you all a consistent answer. So we'll probably have a staff Q&A on Friday afternoon at some point just to manage that. Okay, thank you everybody again. Thank you. Really, really grateful and humbled by your support to the organisation, to our clients. We've had 60 people turn up today, so thank you for that. This will go on our YouTube channel, and the link will get sent out to everyone again. But please stay safe and look after yourself and your families over the next week or so. I was in isolation for a couple of weeks a few weeks ago, and it was generally okay, but there was some tense moments. Even living with yourself, you're stuck with your own head, and it can be challenging. So please reach out to EAP or to us if you do need anything. Like, we are only a phone call away in terms of giving you support. So please don't feel like you're isolated from the organisation while you are working from home or off shift. So just reminding you that we're here for you. All right, thanks everybody. I'll let you all say goodbye. We'll stay on the line as per our normal process. So Laura, Karen,